Posture is one of those things people often overlook because it feels too simple. But the truth is, it's the foundation of how the world first sees you and how you even see yourself when you walk into a room. And the smallest adjustment can completely change the energy you carry. When your shoulders are rounded forward, when your head tilts downward, when your movements are rushed or hunched, you unintentionally give off signals of insecurity, fatigue, or defeat, and people pick up on those things without you ever saying a word. But when you lift your chin slightly, when you straighten your spine and let your shoulders roll back naturally, you create an image of confidence and elegance that others respect instantly. And the best part is, you don't have to buy it. You don't have to fake it. You simply choose to stand with presence. Think about the people who catch your eye in public, the ones who seem to have a magnetism that makes you glance twice. And often it's not the clothes they are wearing or the jewelry they display, it's the effortless way they carry themselves with alignment, balance, and ease. Posture becomes a silent introduction, and the remarkable thing about it is that it doesn't just influence how others perceive you, it influences how you feel about yourself in the moment. Standing tall naturally increases your sense of self-assurance because your body tells your mind that you are in control. And this is a tool older women can use every single day to radiate elegance without speaking a single word. Elegance is never just about appearance. It is about presence, and posture is the key that unlocks that presence. There is also something calming about a woman who takes her time with her movements, who does not rush or fidget, who moves through space with a kind of patience that says she trusts herself and the moment she is in. Quick, jerky gestures or restless shifting can unintentionally make you appear anxious, but slowing down, elongating your gestures, and allowing pauses gives you an air of poise that people instinctively respect. Imagine the difference between entering a room while nervously fumbling with your bag compared to entering with your head held high, steps steady, and body aligned. It creates an entirely different impression, one that communicates dignity. The physical act of good posture also affects health and energy, and that has a direct connection to elegance, because someone who feels strong and supported in their body naturally carries a lighter, more confident presence. Poor posture can lead to stiffness, aches, and even a closed-off chest that restricts your breathing. But when you stand tall, you allow your body to breathe fully, your voice projects more clearly, and your movements appear more fluid. This harmony between physical comfort and outward appearance makes elegance feel natural rather than forced, because your body and mind are working together instead of against each other. Older women who embrace posture as a daily habit show that elegance does not fade with age. It actually deepens because it becomes less about vanity and more about intention. It is not about trying to look like someone else or chasing the trends of youth. It is about refining the simple things that never go out of style, and posture is one of those timeless elements. A tall stance paired with calm movements shows wisdom, experience, and grace, reminding everyone around that elegance is earned through discipline, not through age or circumstance. What makes posture such a powerful tool is that it can be practiced anywhere at any time without cost or special effort. Whether you are at home cooking dinner, standing in line at the store, or speaking at a social gathering, adjusting your stance changes everything about the impression you leave behind. Practicing it daily turns it into second nature, and over time, it becomes less about thinking and more about simply being. People remember the woman who enters the room with an aura of calm strength, and that memory begins the moment they see her posture. It is a quiet form of self-respect, an unspoken reminder that how you carry yourself tells the world how to treat you. And if you carry yourself with dignity, others are more likely to mirror that same respect back to you. Because posture is not only about your body, it is about the silent story your body tells before your words even begin. Simplicity is one of the greatest markers of elegance because it takes maturity and confidence to know that you don't need excess to make an impact. And the women who stand out are rarely the ones wearing the loudest colors or the flashiest trends, but the ones who understand how to let the basics shine. When you look at an elegant, older woman, what you often notice is not a complicated outfit layered with distractions, but a simple, clean, well-chosen look that feels polished without being overdone. The beauty of simplicity is that it draws attention to the person instead of the clothing. It frames the personality instead of competing with it, and it communicates strength because it shows that you don't have to try too hard to be seen. Think about how powerful a crisp white blouse, a neutral dress, or a tailored jacket can be when it fits well and is worn with confidence. And notice how timeless those pieces are compared to trendy items that fade in and out of style. Simplicity removes the noise and brings focus to what truly matters, and it has a way of highlighting natural beauty rather than covering it up. Women who chase after every new fashion statement often find themselves exhausted by the pace of trying to keep up. But the women who choose a few classic staples and wear them with intention project elegance because they are not relying on clothing to make them interesting. They are interesting on their own, and their wardrobe simply supports that truth. There is also something deeply calming about simplicity, not just for the person wearing it, but for the people around them, because when your appearance is uncluttered, people can actually engage with your presence rather than being distracted by too many details. The woman who chooses a subtle necklace instead of layers of jewelry, or the one who opts for a pair of polished shoes instead of something overly dramatic, communicates through those choices that she values ease, balance, and refinement. This is the kind of elegance that doesn't scream for attention, but quietly draws it in because it feels effortless. When you strip away what is unnecessary, you allow grace to breathe. Simplicity also shows discipline because it requires you to say no to excess, to resist the urge to prove yourself through external things, and to trust that your essence is enough. That kind of restraint is powerful, and people notice it even if they don't consciously realize why. There's a reason why some of the most admired styles in history have been built on minimalism. It's because simplicity lasts while trends fade. The older woman who knows this carries an elegance that feels rooted, not rushed, and it sends a message that she is sure of herself and doesn't need validation from every new fashion cycle. It's not only about clothing, but also about how you present yourself overall, because simplicity carries into how you style your hair, how you choose your makeup, and even how you accessorize. Too much can feel overwhelming, but just enough creates balance and harmony, and that balance is what gives off elegance. A simple hairstyle that suits your face, makeup that enhances rather than masks, and accessories that add a touch instead of a distraction. These are the small decisions that add up to a powerful impression. The women who master this don't look like they are trying to keep up with anyone else. They look like they are fully comfortable in their own skin. There is also a subtle confidence in choosing simplicity because it signals that you know who you are and you don't feel the need to prove it with external things. People are naturally drawn to that kind of grounded confidence because it feels stable and trustworthy. When a woman chooses not to overload herself with details, she actually leaves more space for her character, her expressions, and her energy to shine, and that makes her more memorable than anything she could buy in a store. Simplicity says, "I know my worth without having to shout it," and that quiet power is what people find so elegant. The habit of embracing simplicity in everyday choices eventually becomes part of how others experience you, because elegance is not just an outfit you put on, it's a pattern of how you live. From the way you keep your space uncluttered, to the way you move without unnecessary drama, to the way you choose clarity in your words over exaggeration, simplicity seeps into everything and creates a consistent aura of calm sophistication. And when people see you again and again with that same sense of clarity and refinement, they don't just see elegance, they feel it, and that feeling lingers long after you have left the room. Words carry a kind of weight that clothing or appearance never can, and the way a woman speaks has the power to define how others experience her presence long after she has left the room, because elegance is not just about how you look, but about how you make people feel. When an older woman speaks with intention, choosing her words carefully and delivering them with calmness, people lean in and listen, and that attention is not won by volume or force, but by respect for language. The habit of speaking clearly, avoiding gossip, and resisting unnecessary negativity shows maturity, and that maturity is what makes her stand out as someone who is grounded in grace rather than swept up in noise. An elegant woman knows that the tone she sets with her words can either invite people closer or push them away, and so she uses her voice to build connection instead of division. There is something magnetic about a person who listens as much as they speak, because listening itself is an act of elegance, and when an older woman gives her full attention to the person in front of her, she communicates value without even trying. People remember how she made them feel heard, and that memory becomes part of her reputation. Speaking with elegance does not mean being overly formal or rehearsed. It means being thoughtful, pausing before responding, and allowing silence to play its role instead of rushing to fill every gap. The pause itself is powerful because it shows that her words are measured and that she does not need to compete for space. Elegance in speech is not about saying more, it is about saying what matters and letting that stand on its own. Kindness in words is one of the most timeless traits an elegant woman can hold, because kindness never goes out of style and it never fails to leave an impact. Sarcasm, sharpness, or constant criticism may draw laughs or attention in the short term, but they leave behind a sting that people remember far longer than intended. A calm word of encouragement, a gentle compliment, or simply a tone of patience can transform even a casual conversation into a moment people feel grateful for. That is the type of elegance that travels beyond the moment, because words once spoken cannot be taken back, and an older woman who understands this chooses to use her voice as a tool for good. The way words are spoken is as important as the words themselves, and an elegant presence is amplified by tone, rhythm, and composure. Speaking too quickly, raising the voice unnecessarily, or filling space with nervous chatter can create the impression of anxiety, but slowing down, speaking with clarity, and allowing words to land creates authority and calmness. This does not require a practiced performance. It simply requires self-awareness and trust in your own pace. When an older woman speaks in this way, her words carry more weight because people sense that she means what she says, and there is no need to oversell it. Elegance in speech also means choosing authenticity, because people can always sense when words are empty or insincere. Empty flattery or rehearsed phrases often fall flat, but genuine expression, even if it is simple, holds far greater impact. An older woman who has learned through experience to mean what she says and say only what she means embodies elegance, because she does not waste words and she does not bend her speech to please everyone. There is a power in that restraint, and people naturally trust someone who speaks from honesty instead of performance. Another overlooked aspect of speech is how it can create peace in tense situations, because an elegant woman knows that the energy she brings through her voice can calm storms instead of adding to them. Choosing not to escalate, choosing words that diffuse rather than ignite, is a habit that sets her apart from others who may react with anger or defensiveness. This kind of composure shows inner strength, and it communicates to others that elegance is not fragile, it is resilient, and that resilience is what makes her memorable. People are drawn to those who can bring clarity and calmness when everyone else is lost in chaos, and words are the tool that makes that possible. Elegance is not about saying everything perfectly, but about using words as an extension of character. And when an older woman carries herself with dignity in her speech, she teaches without preaching, influences without demanding, and uplifts without seeking credit. And that ability to use language not only to express, but also to elevate, is what makes her presence linger long after the conversation has ended. Taking care of yourself consistently is one of the most powerful signals of elegance because it tells the world you respect who you are and you value the body you live in. And this kind of care is not about vanity, but about discipline, about creating small routines that keep you feeling polished and confident every day. An older woman who keeps her skin hydrated, her hair groomed, and her nails neat sends a message without ever speaking that she values herself enough to show up well, and that message influences how others receive her presence. People notice the details, and while they may not comment on them, they subconsciously read them as signs of self-respect, and self-respect always radiates as elegance. It is not about spending hours in front of a mirror. It is about building habits that make care feel natural, not forced. When you think about the most elegant women you have seen, it is rarely about looking younger. It is about looking cared for, and that difference matters because one is about chasing what is past, while the other is about honoring what is present. Skincare that reflects consistency, hair that looks intentional, and clothes that are kept neat even if simple all add up to an image of someone who has pride in themselves, and that kind of pride is contagious. People feel more at ease around someone who looks like they respect themselves because it suggests they will also respect others. Elegance in older age is not about turning back the clock, but about moving forward with grace, and that is made visible through the effort you put into maintaining yourself with dignity. Consistency in self-care also gives you confidence that no one can take away, because when you know you have shown up prepared, you naturally hold yourself with more poise, and that poise is the heart of elegance. The opposite is also true. When you neglect yourself, when you know you haven't taken time to look after even the small details, you carry that discomfort with you, and it affects how you interact with people. An elegant woman uses self-care as her foundation so she can step into any room, any situation, and know she is representing herself with pride. That quiet confidence does more to create an elegant presence than any outfit ever could. There is a discipline in keeping up with yourself every single day, even on the days when no one will see you, because elegance is not about performance for others, but about habit for yourself. Washing your face before bed, moisturizing your skin, brushing your hair, even if you're staying at home. All these little routines reinforce to yourself that you are worth the effort, and that mindset eventually shapes the way you appear in public. People often think elegance is something you switch on when you go out, but true elegance comes from how you treat yourself when no one is watching, and that consistency becomes visible whether you intend it or not. Self-care also connects deeply with health because looking after your body impacts how you feel, and how you feel impacts how you carry yourself. Eating balanced meals, staying hydrated, moving your body regularly, all of these choices not only improve your energy, but also give you a glow that cannot be bought in a store. That natural vitality is one of the most elegant qualities a woman can carry because it shows she has invested in her well-being instead of only in her appearance. People sense that kind of wholeness, and it makes your presence stronger, calmer, and more attractive. Elegance thrives on details, and consistency in self-care ensures that the details are never neglected, whether it's clean shoes, fresh breath, or clothing that is pressed instead of wrinkled. These might seem like small things, but they add up to a powerful impression because when someone sees you, they see the sum of all those details working together. An older woman who masters this doesn't have to chase attention because attention naturally comes to her drawn in by the fact that she looks intentional, cared for, and composed. That is the power of habits repeated daily. They become part of your identity, part of your elegance, part of your reputation. Consistency in self-care is not about striving for perfection. It is about honoring yourself with daily effort, about creating a rhythm that reinforces your dignity, and about making sure that when you step into the world, you already feel aligned with the elegance you want to project. Because when the foundation is solid, everything else flows naturally, and people see not just beauty, but balance and respect shining through you. Gratitude is one of the most underrated habits that separates an ordinary presence from an elegant one. Because when a woman shows genuine appreciation for the people around her, she carries a warmth that lingers far beyond the moment. And this warmth has nothing to do with age or status, but everything to do with choice. An older woman who makes it a point to say thank you, to acknowledge the efforts of others, to recognize even the small kindnesses given to her, immediately stands apart because she chooses to see value where many people overlook it. Gratitude is not only heard in words, it is felt in tone, in eye contact, in the sincerity of a smile, and those subtle signals of appreciation create an aura of grace that no amount of material possessions can match. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel seen, and gratitude is the vehicle that makes that possible. There is something deeply elegant about a woman who carries gratitude in her conversations, because it shifts the focus from herself to others, and that humility is refreshing in a world where so many people are focused only on being noticed. When she takes the time to thank the waiter, the driver, the store clerk, or even the friend who simply listens, she is not only elevating them, but also elevating herself, because respect moves in both directions. Gratitude communicates that you do not take things for granted, and that ability to honor even the smallest gestures tells people that you carry wisdom, experience, and perspective. An older woman who practices this consistently makes people feel comfortable and valued in her presence, and that comfort is the very definition of elegance. Gratitude also affects how a woman carries herself, because when you live with appreciation instead of complaint, your posture, your tone, and your energy naturally shift toward positivity, and positivity is magnetic. Complaints weigh down conversations, they drain the room, and they diminish the aura of elegance. But gratitude lifts, it lightens, it creates space for connection. People remember how you made them feel, and when you consistently make them feel respected and acknowledged, they remember you as someone who radiates elegance without even trying. It is not the grand gestures, but the everyday expressions of appreciation that build this reputation, and over time, it becomes second nature. What makes gratitude such a powerful form of elegance is that it requires no money, no special resources, no preparation, only awareness and sincerity. Anyone can practice it, but not everyone chooses to, and that is why it stands out when someone embodies it fully. Saying thank you with intention, complimenting someone's effort, or simply acknowledging their presence creates a ripple effect that touches more than just that one person. It influences the atmosphere around you. An elegant woman understands that the energy she carries shapes the environment she steps into, and gratitude is one of the simplest yet strongest ways to shape it for the better. Older women who live with gratitude show that elegance deepens with perspective, because the more you have experienced, the more you understand the importance of kindness. They have seen enough of life to know that people want to be recognized, that they want to feel valued, and that taking the time to express appreciation costs nothing but means everything. Gratitude in this sense is not just polite manners, it is emotional intelligence, it is social grace, and it is the ability to make people feel important in a way that outshines any external decoration. Elegance flows naturally from this because it becomes less about appearance and more about the way you affect others. Even in challenging moments, gratitude is a form of resilience because it allows a woman to focus on what remains rather than what is lost, and that quiet strength is inspiring. To carry gratitude in adversity shows that elegance is not fragile but unshaken, that it is not dependent on circumstances but rooted in character. People admire the woman who can thank others even when life is not perfect, who can find dignity in appreciation when it would be easier to dwell on frustration. That kind of steadiness communicates elegance more powerfully than anything external, because it proves that grace is a choice, not a condition. Gratitude shapes presence in ways that words cannot fully capture, because when a woman consistently acknowledges, uplifts, and appreciates the people around her, she creates an energy that people want to return to, and that energy becomes her signature of elegance, leaving behind not only the impression of how she looked, but the lasting memory of how she made others feel.